Hello, friends. Finally back after a few trying moments of trying to get things straightened out. Good to have you back. Let me tell you again, today I'm doing some halftone sketches and talking about composition mostly because composition, this is review class. When you talk composition, you are referring to the major light and dark zones, areas of a painting. Everything else is is way secondary. If you get that lesson firmly implanted in your mind, you'll be far down the road. So I'm doing little watercolor, acrylic actually, sketches. And when you take the tape off, you tend to be able to see what it looks like a little better. So this is the first one that I did based on, let me show you the photographs, based on this photograph and this one. These are pictures I took a couple weeks ago when I was out plein air painting. And I don't usually do sketches, but I'm toying with the idea of starting a lot more. So I did two completely different sketches based on the same two photographs, the same tree, if you will, the same house, but I've rearranged it quite a bit. Let's take a look at this one. It's surprising how much it becomes clearer when you take the tape off. And of course, the nice clean border really helps give the feeling, the appearance of a clean composition. I didn't realize I had two pieces of paper taped together. That's kind of funny. Okay, so here's the two things I've done so far. This one, again, using Mikey's rule, that's what I'm calling it now, of lights, mids, and darks. Two of the three need to be contiguous, either the lights, mediums, mediums, darks, or lights and darks, and one of the three. So this one, all the lights are contiguous, the midtones are contiguous, and the darks are spotty. This one, I tried to make the darks contiguous, that is, touching each other. And this is all midtone, this is all midtone. Maybe if I worked on it a little bit more, I would have some light areas, but frankly I'm tired of working on that one right now, so let's change gears completely. Let's pick a different photograph, different piece of paper, and decide which one speaks to me the most. Well, to tell you the truth, right now these are done on the same farm. I think those are the only two I have of that farm. And I've already done one. Let's look at the one sketch that I've already done from, there it is. So again, here's, oops, I just missed somebody's comment. I'll catch it later. Thank you. Here's the one sketch that I've done based on these two. So I don't want to just repeat myself. I want to do something slightly different. Beautiful old farm. I discovered a couple weeks ago when I was out there painting and met the owners. The farm dates to before the Revolutionary War. That's pretty old in America. And my European friends would laugh at us because us Yanks, we don't have much history, do we? But for us, going back 250 years is quite a long time. So let's do something with this shape. Tree, definitely right here, and it's again, don't just draw. I'm saying to myself and to you, don't just draw the tree in your head, because when you do that, your battery is wearing down. This is a good time to look at the photograph of the tree and actually reflect on what's there. Now here's a problem. These two sheds are too close to each other in height. They're competing with each other. So I'm going to make this one a lot taller and this distant barn shorter. And the big sweeping dirt driveway is a huge element in this scene, I believe. Another barn. There's all kinds of outbuildings. One, two, three, four, five. That might be a trailer, but I'm going to count it 6, 7, 8, 9 buildings in that one tiny little photograph. So that gives me a lot of stuff to work with, which means I have an excuse. I have permission to do almost anything because I can point to the photograph. So you see, there it is. As if one needs an excuse, right? I'm feeling like, let me switch grips here a little bit. I'm feeling like a telephone pole right about here with some power lines might be a good. Okay, now the fun part. Let's start thinking about where are my mids, darks, and lights. And I'm going to go ahead and decide, at least initially, that I want the foreground to be mostly midtones, okay? That's just an arbitrary or intuitive decision. There's not like a rule or anything. In fact, if there's a rule for what color is the foreground, or if there's a, what's the word, a standard, my standard actually, and again, I might do this too much. Anything you do all the time, you're doing too much. So, but I tend to make the foreground in many of my paintings dark and let the light appear. And that's sort of what I'm doing right here. Let's let the light appear as we step back into the scene. And when I look at other people's paintings, those tend to be very often the kind of composition that I like in other people's paintings as well. So I don't think it's just a whatever. I think I really do like that composition. Okay, so far everything I'm putting on this paper I would consider to be mid-tone. Different shades of mid-tone, but mid-tone nonetheless. Hello, Heather. Hello, Heather. Yes, I know. I agree with you completely. Now, I did discover a little while ago that on my computer, so not on my phone, but on my computer, I can go back and retrieve some of those comments. So let's see if I can figure out a way to make it work. So I'm with you. I really enjoyed being able to interact with you. And like you say, sometimes I catch the comment, and I'll try to position the phone so that I see, you know, a flash in the corner of my eye like I did right then. But sitting at a desk like this, I don't have that many options as to where I put that phone. Well, so far it's kind of nice. I don't have any darks. All I have is all light and medium. Let's build up a little bit of dark and see if it continues to work, continues to function. Now, in this particular photograph, the reason many of these roofs are light in value is because they are, looks to me like aluminum. At least that's the color they are. If they're tin roofs, which would be the old tradition, they've been painted with aluminum paint, which is very, very possible. So that's why the roofs are all showing up as very light. I saw part of a comment there from Loic, but all I saw was one letter. Hi, hello, yourself. Mahatsengi. Love your drawing. Thank you. How do you say your name? I'm saying it Lois, or is it Loic? Loic. I'll say that unless you correct me. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for making a comment. So far it's kind of a sweet. Izzy, here's one thing you can do. You can let me know if a comment. You just yell if something shows up in the corner of my screen.
Okay.
Okay. Say somebody says a comment. Just say comment, and I'll know to look over there. How about that? That'd be a good job. Oh yes, power telephone pole right here. Okay, now a little while ago I talked about often doing dark in the foreground. Let's try that a little bit. So we're looking for a bigger brush, a big messy-ish brush. And what would happen if we were standing in the shade of a big tree or a big house or a big building or a big hill or even a big cloud, so that all the... Hello, Heather. Have you noticed that looking for comments while painting has helped prevent the blindness of focusing? Oh, you know what, Heather, that might be, that would be great if it worked out that way, wouldn't it? If the forced distraction, wouldn't that be a nice thing? Because I was sort of afraid of the opposite. What if, turning my head, getting a flash in the eye, what if it kind of made painting difficult? Well, I like your solution better. Let's pretend, shall we? Let's pretend that it's going to help me to paint better. I like the idea anyway.
Which idea?
That by make the comments come up on my screen on my phone, that it forces me to look away from my painting for a minute, and might be
making mistakes.
No, it might help me make fewer mistakes. Let's give it a try, Heather. I'm game. I think I'm going to stop right here on that one. That was a really quickie. I'm anxious to see what it looks like. Now, one of the things I can do with these little sketches, if I want to work on them more, I can put fresh tape around the edge. I think the pronunciation is good. Well, thank you very much. Now, I should ask you next, where do you live? Am I right in thinking India or somewhere near India? Pakistan? Forgive me for not being an expert in your part of the world. It looks sort of like an Indian name to me. Okay, so here again, to review, this light area right here, that's not large enough, I don't think. Well, maybe this whole thing is a midtone, but I feel like everything up to here is midtone. In fact, everything is midtone. And so the lights are the top third, the darks are the bottom third. So according to Mikey's theory, that would be a good composition. And then the dark area is just down here at the very bottom. But I sort of like that one. This is one that I think might take the next step, go to the next level, and become a color sketch a little bit later. Okay, now it turns out I didn't get enough little pieces of paper ready for this video, so you can watch me do another one. Hello. Oh, the painting, really? And you're in India, eh, Heather? Heather, you live in Mississippi. Am I right about that? Forgive me for not knowing. Good question, Toby. Have I done paintings? No, not really. I mean, I've thought about Mikey's rule while I've painted, but I haven't. I have not. Done. I feel like I want to do a sketch first. Okay, Heather, close up of what I'm working on. Or a close-up of my last sketch. Either one. There's the last sketch, okay? And here's what I'm working on. So, no, good question, Toby. I have not really. I do operate a great deal out of my simpler definition, that is, that a good composition can be the light or dark areas can be coalesced into one simple descriptive word. I have done that.
The camera is always one step behind.
Yeah, isn't it?
That's
A little bit.
thing.
Yep, yep. Now you know our secret, folks.
Or 2 steps behind
Yep,
the real
like several
life
seconds
thing.
behind reality.
Okay, now it catched up to you.
Now I'm looking for which
I see.
photograph to work on next. This one right here, I haven't done anything. This was a house that I was just driving by and stopped really quickly, pulled the car over to the side of the road, stopped, and jumped out and took this picture. It's actually a house that I used to jog by for many years.
But now you
It's
don't,
about,
right?
yeah, not right now. It's about 3 miles from our house, so I haven't jogged that far in a little while.
What was the longest jog that you've done, like in 1 month or 3 weeks or something?
I don't know. Of Madagascar. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good to hear. Wow, I don't think I've ever had anybody watch me from Madagascar. Wow.
Madagascar?
And I actually know where you are.
Madagascar?
Yeah.
What?
There's a famous cartoon about Madagascar. Do you know there's a famous cartoon? Do you know there's a famous cartoon called Madagascar here in America? I'm assuming. I'm assuming that you all do.
Madagascar.
That's how all our kids know where Madagascar is, because they watch the cartoon. So they know all about it, don't you?
All about what?
About Madagascar.
Well,
Maybe not all about it.
like I know about some of the animals.
That's
but
right.
I don't know about the island.
About the people. See, at least he knows it's an island. That's a start. Yep. We had a daughter, one of our daughters went to Mozambique many years ago for several weeks. So that's as close as we've gotten to that part of the world.
Like the the animal, the
There's an eye?
Yeah.
Really?
There's such thing as an It is like the creepiest. It's almost an alien. Because in real
Okay,
life.
let me interrupt you here a little bit. Sorry, Izzy. Let me zoom in so you can see it. Mississippi. Yes, yes. Oh, sweet. Heather, that's cool. Mahapuramib. Kimberly, thank you. Ohio. Where in Ohio, Kimberly? I graduated from high school in Ohio. Okay, here's my sketch. I'm assuming you can see that. That's fairly light. And one of the things I will mention about it, and again, here's the photograph, so I'm reflecting the photograph moderately accurately, is that the house, part of the house goes outside of the frame. That's pretty important, because if you don't do that, especially when you're doing architecture, you will end up with the donut hole syndrome. If you can see all the way around the building, it's a donut, and the building is the hole in the donut. And it's usually an uncomfortable composition. It doesn't just refer to buildings, but you see that mistake often made in landscapes. If there's a building in the landscape, that the person will have all 4 sides, if you will, of the building will be inside the frame of the painting. Again, it's an uncomfortable composition for us. So normally you want to have one part of the building, either top, bottom, left, or right, go outside the frame. Normally, now of course, again, every rule can be broken, but you better know the rule first, and then you know if you're breaking right. Oh, and Heather's agreeing with you about the strange creature.
It has yellow eyes and
Does it?
Dad has yellow eyes in real life.
That's great. Who says this channel isn't educational, eh?
Wait, is this cartoon called Wild Kratts? Wait, is this?
Yeah, you're right. No, that's not what this channel is. No.
Oh, well, that's how I learned about the eye.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, that's
Oh, he learned it on a cartoon, educational cartoon.
But wait until I don't like it for some reason.
Oh, got it. The little sisters aren't as crazy about it as the big brother is.
Probably because they're girls and I'm a boy.
Oh, great. Thank you, Toby. My website. Kudos to my website. That for those of you who haven't been there, dannelsonart.com. Thank you. Appreciate that. It's definitely a website that I put together for artists, for fellow artists. And yeah, that's all I'll say, but I'll stop there. Thank you. Glad to hear it.
Why is there's one thing that has a fox or something on the far left side when you see a comet? There's a fox.
Oh, really?
In the beginning of it.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'll have to figure that out. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a picture of a fox in the beginning of it. Like right there. See?
Yep.
Oh, that's a cat.
Oh, that's Heather. That's right. That's just her. What's it called?
That was a cat.
Avatar. That's what she's chosen to put. The picture she has chosen to put to represent her when she's on making a comment on YouTube.
It's a cat.
It's a cat.
Okay.
Which it makes us assume that Heather likes cats. And I'm assuming that we're assuming correctly, right, Heather?
And I assume that she doesn't like dogs.
Oh.
Most
That's right.
People like cats, they don't like dogs. I hope that this person likes dogs while she likes cats.
There you go, Heather. A challenge to you. But do you like dogs? That is the question. Okay. Well, this one is we'll see. I'm at the moment, I would say nothing terribly exciting is happening here. And again, this is the value of doing quick sketches, right? You can work out your issues, work out a lot of your issues. I don't mean your psychological issues. That too, perhaps. I mean, you can work out a lot of the visual questions. That is your cat. Her name is Tinker. Put her in his mouth because she talks so much.
She talks so much. Does she know?
Okay, hang on, Heather. Not you, Heather. Hang on, Izzy. Let me jump here and talk. Thank you, Toby. Good question. Why is it mids, darks, and lights? It's because it's part of a larger principle, which is part of a yet larger. The larger principle is darks first, lights last. And there's a principle even bigger than that. Ooh, for painting urban cities, my advice is do it. Practice, do it. Oh, and use long brushes so you can use the handles to help you keep the perspective correct. There's a good tip for you. Okay, back to Toby's question about why is it when you render complicated subjects, or variegated, maybe it's a more technical term, things that are very busy. My rule is you do midtones over everything, then darks, then lights. Okay, that's really reflective of a larger principle, which is darks first, lights last, which also is a reflection of an even larger principle than that, which is, ready? Human beings do not like seeing. We do not enjoy seeing dark dark paint on top of light paint. Okay, let me say that again. We don't like seeing dark on top of light. We do like seeing, all the time, we like seeing light paint on top of dark paint. So there's several ways to get around that, but one of the ways to do that is when you're, without getting, I'm not talking about getting around it right now. Let's talk about why do you do mids, then darks, then lights? The answer is if you do it that way, you will not be violating this principle. You will actually be in sync with this. We like seeing light paint on top of dark paint. We don't like seeing dark paint on top of light paint.
Part of the reason I love the name Heather is because it's a name in one of my it's a person in one of the people in one of my favorite.
Good question, Toby. You're proposing maybe darks, then mids, then lights? Darks, mids, lights. That is certainly how you do watercolor. At least one of the most traditional ways to do watercolor. But okay. When you do mids over everything, then darks and lights, you're essentially following the practice that many people do when they tone a canvas, right? A toned canvas. Let's say you're doing a portrait of a human being. That's usually what is inferred by the word portrait, isn't it? Let's say you're doing a portrait of a human being. I'm going to change this chimney right here into a telephone pole. Hope that's okay with you. It's much easier to do a portrait on a toned canvas. That is a canvas that has a brownish, mid-brown flesh tone on it already. Because then you don't have the white staring at you. So the principle of doing mids first, then darks, then lights sort of follows that way of thinking. It's just a lot easier if you've already got all of your dark tones, your midtones, I'm sorry, blocked in, so to speak. It's faster to do it that way. Just cover the whole thing with whatever your basic local color is. And then it's done. Then you just come back and do darks on top of that. And then lights on top of that. Okay, let me pause for a minute. Let's look at my current sketch, which while I'm blabbing and thinking about all kinds of other things, let me show you the photograph. Here's the photograph. Horrible, boring sun, boring light. You with me? What? Hang on, I'll get it there in a second. There we go. Horrible, boring light. Heather, I do lights, then mid, then dark. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, watercolor, of course, the rules are quite the other way around. Yeah. Anyway, here's my take on it, and actually, you know what made the difference on this sketch? As soon as I took that big brush and did that angle, then all of a sudden, instantly, this image started to come alive. It's like, ooh, now something interesting is happening. And of course, that's a reflection of the ubiquitous rule of play of light. The most important aspect of any painting is play of light. Okay, I'm going to come back and work on this some more. And when I change this into a telephone pole, power line, that helped. And I actually think, even though I intentionally kept that chimney from going off the top, I think I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to actually make the chimney go off the top of the painting. And all of a sudden, that's not a bad. So this is the center mass, Edgar Payne, the light area. This is the light area is right there. Well, the sky's light and that. So we have the shape. We have an upside down hat is the light area, or the letter T, a fat letter T is the light area. Everything else is mid or dark. That's not a bad composition right there. I'm going to go ahead and
Comment.
take the top off. Yep, great tonal harmony. That's a good word. That's a good word.
Don't take the good one.
Okay, let's take the frame off this one and take a look at it, and then I'll pause. Now, in a few minutes, this is the end of my sketching today. I am going to go downstairs to my other studio, my painting studio, and I'm going to do a wedding painting from photographs of my youngest daughter's wedding, which happened actually a year ago. And she and her husband are visiting us for a couple days, so I decided to do their painting while they were here. So you all may join me in that if you'd like. Back to my more normal painting practice there. That has a nice little feel to it, don't you think? Yeah. Let me see. I'm going to learn how to get this straight for you guys here in a second. Oh, went the wrong way. There we go. Okay. Thank you for joining me. This is really fun, I must say. Doing these is a lot of fun. And again, part of the beauty is that in a relatively small amount of time, Heather, I did get that. Pay the vet, and then in a rather small amount of time, I was able to do 4 sketches this afternoon, and one of them I like quite well. Another one I like quite well, a little weaker, and the weakest. So if I throw this out, I'm not brokenhearted because I spent 15 minutes working on it. This one has potential. I really like this one, and I really like that one. So I can either go straight to paintings with these, or I can go to to color sketches. Hello, Coffee Cat. Thank you for commenting. Yes, I'm having a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me. Okay, I'm going to sign off. Oh, thank you, Heather. Yes, I had mentioned a couple weeks ago when I started these that I'm going to sell these. I haven't figured out the logistics, but the easiest way would be if you simply leave a comment, not right now, not on this running video. Tell me you'd like, this is the order I did them today, A, B, C, D. And I'm selling for $25, so just say A, B, C, D. Can you see all those? I think you can. Let's make sure you can. A, B, C, D. If anybody wants to buy one, the first person to leave a comment. What's the difference between a comment and a chat? I hope you guys can figure that out. Say, I want A, B, C, or D. And you might describe it as well. Say, the one, whatever, with a diagonal shadow, or the farm scene with the long road. Okay? The other ones that I did last week, I'm going to post those on my Facebook, which is Facebook Dan the Art Man, and put those up for sale for $25. Thanks so much. This has been fun. I'll be